So folks, I'm back on the Mississippi today. These are my home waters. I've been going around looking for different places to fish, kind of jacking around. Today I'm gonna get back to the basics, see if I can get some big fish in the boat. I'm by myself. Erin, my co-conspirator, is not with me today. She had to work, unfortunately. I'm gonna do more of a how-to video, how I try to catch big fish. I don't know. The whole purpose of these videos was to see if I could help people put more fish in the boat. The last 2 or 3 videos I've done, I've just been kind of getting used to the camera and how it's going to affect me fishing wise. And so far, it's not really that big a headache. I'm going to go up here and hunt for my first spot. This line of barges come down through here a while ago. It's got it all kind of jacked up. So right here's a current scene. There's a wing dike right here. Right at the end of these wing dikes, there's always like a scour hole. So I'm gonna run up through this current scene to see the graph there until I find like a drop off. It's averaging 24, 23, something like that right here. I'm looking for where this kind of scour hole goes up into shallower water and blows out into this current scene. See if I can find what I'm looking for and show y'all. Starting to see a few fish right there. This is the drop off. See how that goes up and down, and it's kind of, so that's a current break underneath the water. I ain't necessarily looking for fish, but I'm looking for their homes. That's the reason why I use 2D sonar so much. That looks like a pile of shad right there, so that's a good thing. So I'm gonna let the boat drift up here until I find the drop off. And then go up above the drop off and anchor. That looks like a fish there. That's a good thing. It's kind of getting deeper, and then she'll got the sun. Quite a few fish right there off that drop off. So what I'm gonna do now is them's hard to say whether they're catfish or not, but they could very well be, and there's a couple up here on the drop off. So what I'm gonna do is drop anchor right here, and I'm gonna fish up on the drop off and then on the river side of it. So my drop off's over there to the right, all about as far as you can throw. I'm gonna slice up some shad. I'm probably gonna throw 3, maybe 4 ounces of weight here, and then see what happens. So I'm gonna throw 1 pole up on the drop off, 1 pole right in the middle of the drop off, and possibly 1 pole on the other side of the drop off and 1 up in the shallows. I'm gonna probably fish with 3 for a little bit And if they're not biting very good, I might switch to 4. I don't like to fish with over 3 if I can keep from it. I'm gonna have my eyes turned off these poles for a second, so I'm gonna loosen up the drag in case one slams it, I don't break anything. I'm gonna use my little shad until I locate some good fish, and then I'm gonna take and put big shad on it. Or until I locate some blue cat, just according to how everything bites. I don't have an exceptional amount of shad, or big shad. Throw that one out there in that deeper water. I've got poles in the deeper side of that drop off, and I got a pole on the shallower side, and I will see which ones get the bite. This sort of sets the tone for the day, where to look for fish. It's been a few weeks since I've fished here, and I have not got a bite yet. That is not good. Supposed to be getting kind of a heavier wind today. A little bit later on, I'm gonna fix my dip net in case stuff happens quick. I'm pretty stoked about today, just because I'm back in my home waters. First, that's a pretty good bite right there. I'm gonna reel him in and see what he is. So that happened, folks, in about 7 minutes, and that's what you want to see. He ain't a real big fish, but it is a fish, and it was in the shallower water. I hope that this is gonna keep my arm from flopping around, and you can see more what's going on. I am gonna keep a few today. I won't keep anything over 4 pounds, 5. But I got a buddy wanting to have a fish fry, and that is the perfect size right there to keep. About a 4 or 5 pound fish. Pretty good little old blue. We ain't gonna give them very much longer here. I've been here about 15 minutes and caught that one fish. Got all kinds of trains and stuff like that. This stretch of river, we've got plenty of places to fish. If you don't get a bite pretty quick, you move on to the next place. Back to the basics. It usually happens quick if they're gonna bite there. It's how I used to fish before I had all these fancy gadgets that tell me where everything's at. I'd give them about 15-20 minutes. If I didn't get a bite, I'd move to somewhere else that looked good. Now, flathead fishing's a little bit different, but blue cats, if they're there, they're gonna bite pretty quick if they're active. Or channel cat. I finally got another bite. I don't know what he's trying to do. I'm gonna reel down on him. Kick some stuff out of my way. He was in the deeper water. Not a very big one. Good eating size for Kyle and his fish fry. Real good eating size. Both starting to turn a little bit. I kind of think my left hand pole's trying to get a bite. I don't know, it might have been something swam into the line. And it could be Muy Grande. I don't know what Muy Grande means. I figure it means Moby Dick. Might mean big goat for all I know. I ain't Grande's a biscuit. We are about done with it. Center pole's getting a bite. We're about done with this place. I like how they're biting today. They're biting a little bit better than the last couple times I've been. Hopefully that continues all day to where I can hunt a big one. That's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna go see if I can put a 40-pound plus in the boat and catch enough for his fish fry. I almost got his fish fry covered. About 3 more and then he can fry him some fish. I don't know if that was a bite or the boat's shifting a little bit. Them 2 right-hand poles are definitely the boat. Lots of times whenever them sinkers slip on the bottom, it'll trigger a bite. I don't like how the boat's positioned right here. I worked on it 10 minutes trying to get it the way I wanted it. Boat positioning is a big key. So if your boat ain't positioned right, then your baits ain't positioned right. And it's almost like the current's going left to right here and my boat's facing silly sideways in the current and it's throwing everything off kilter out the back of the boat. But like I said, I tried to get it to go the way I wanted it to. I've got 2 anchors down, or I would probably be all kinds of messed up. Sometimes I use a drift sock. If the current's doing what I want it to do, I'll use a drift sock. But like I said, we ain't gonna fish here much longer. Just every time I say that, I get a bite. So we ain't gonna fish here very much longer. Well, they must have not have heard me. So I was tangled up, hung up, had to jack with that a little bit. Lots of times you can go out and I had to turn the camera on, but if you're stuck, you can back the boat out on the other side of it with the heavy lines that we use for this catfish, and it's sometimes hard to break it. So instead of like breaking it and losing all my stuff, I'll back the boat out in the river or wherever it's hung up at, and get on the other side of it, and it'll come loose generally. Sometimes it don't. If I'm catching fish, then I'll go ahead and try to break it. But if I'm moving anyway, I'll go out and get it. There's our next wing dam we're gonna fish, or wing dike, or whatever. Everybody calls them something different. A smart person would call it a rock pile in the river. So I'm pretty stoked about this place as soon as everything gets lined out. There was a lot of fish down there. For some reason my camera shut off while I was trying to show y'all what was going on. Didn't know that it was off. Been talking to, I guess, myself for a little bit. Hopefully there'll be a good one here. I can't tell if that's a bite on that far right hand pole. If it is, it's a good fish. Let me jack with it a little bit. I think it's the boat pulling the sinker on the bottom, because all of them's doing it now. I kind of think that there's a good one down there. I seen him on sonar somewhere about 50 foot where I'm facing right there. I had circled there 3 or 4 times trying to figure out which way the current was going so that I wouldn't have to deal with a boat going in circles, but evidently I didn't figure it out good enough. We're after a 40-pound plus fish today. Of course, I won't complain if we catch them smaller, but I want to put another 40-pound plus on video. That far left pole's getting a bite. He don't act like he's too enthused. I bet he's on there. Jack with it a little bit. Usually these littler bites, when you're playing with them, is whenever you get the big bite on your other pole. He's hooked. But it feels like a mini catfish. When you can reel them in like this, they're mini catfish. Probably good to eat in size. Good to go in the cooler with Kyle's other fish. Well, he's just a hair too small. Ain't that something how a 10-aught hook can hook them things? So the more I talk about big ones, the littler they get. And see, them fish I seen on sonar could be inactive. They might have been just laying there. They was in a little bit of a different place where I generally find them at up here. Far left-hand post getting a bite. We ain't gonna put up with this very much longer. We can catch 2 and 3 pounders in our rivers around the house. That far left-hand post kinda, I'm gonna reel down on him. I kinda feel like he's hit. Got the dog, he's taking off. See, told you folks, I can't even get it out of the rod holder. Hear him strip and drag. He was screaming drag until when I flipped that thing over. Took me a second to catch back up to him. He was coming towards me. I don't know what he is yet. Feels like a good fish. Is if he stays out of my anchor rope down here. Ah, it's over here. I'd like for him to be somewhere else besides here at this motor. I don't think he's all that big. He's a good fish. Let me get this thing around here where I can handle him. Boy, he's taking drag right there. Oh, my hand's weak right there. I didn't want to lose my pole. Now I can handle him. I got all kinds of stuff up here to... Hopefully you can see what's going on. I'm gonna point this camera down. He's just sitting there pulling. He's up underneath the boat because the boat blew in the wind. I don't like that. There we go. Good fish. Let me grab my dip net. Real good fish. I don't know if y'all can see him. I'm gonna get him in the dip net and get him over the edge of the boat. I've got these poles laid out where I can't. I guess I'm gonna bring him in anyway. Whew. That's as far as that camera goes down, and y'all can see him. I'm gonna get a weight on him and throw him back. I'm gonna weigh him in the net so I don't hurt him. Boy, that's fun, folks. That's adrenaline at its finest. He somehow got me tangled up here a little bit. Barge, getting him a view, catching fish. Figure out my scale, make sure it ain't on kilogram. It's zeroed out. So this net away a couple pounds. $36. Good fish. I had a pretty good bite right then. He gave up on it. Hell, I don't know. That fish might still be on there. He is. It ain't my 60 pounder, but it's a good weight in the day. I think he screwed around and got over and caught in that other line. I might throw him in there with with Kyle's fish fry, since it's the last fish of the day. And we'll let him get up there about that bridge, and then reel in and call it a day.